Alrighty, we are busting this next video out. Video lesson's gonna get a little trickier, and I've got a little like spice I gotta throw on there for you. The first thing I wanna do and look at is if you could, just as like a little warm up, just go ahead and attack number 15 on your own to start the lesson. If you don't have the notes, go ahead and draw all this out, right? While you pause it, and then go ahead and solve it. When you're done, press play. We'll come back and do it together. Okay? So I'm assuming you press play. Remember, just a little heads up, if the arrow's pointing away from the absolute value, right, you know we've got something like that kind of situation, and it's an or. Okay, if the arrow, I'm going to switch up the colors. If our inequality arrow is pointing towards the absolute value, I'll just say there's an X in here just for fun. We know that they're heading towards each other, and it's going to be an and type of situation. But today, that's where it's going to get a little spicier, okay, because the and situation is going to look a little different on how the homework's presented and possibly in the quiz. All right, so you can tell right here that the inequality or the absolute value rather is by itself, so we can split it up. We can say negative 8a minus 3 is greater than 11. And then over here we're going to say negative 8a minus 3. We flip the sign, and then we make it negative 11. Okay, so our first step is get this 3 over, or the negative 3. So we're going to add 3. And that cancels. It looks like we have a negative 8a is greater than, oh man, is this 14 here? Okay, looks like we're going to have a fraction or a decimal. That's going to be a little tricky. Okay, and here we've got negative 8a is less than, I think, negative 8. Okay, time to divide. We're dividing by a negative, so we got to flip the sign. We're dividing by a negative, so we got to flip the sign. Okay? And what happens here is it looks like we have a flip the sign, negative 14 over 8. And then we have a flip the sign, positive 1. Okay, and if we want to graph that, hey, a is greater than 1, we can do that. It's open. It's eating the variable, so it's going to the right. And here, negative 14 over 8, if you were to put that into your calculator, which I highly recommend, it's going to spit out something like, I don't know, negative 1.6 or something like that. So it's in between 1 and 2. So as long as you put this guy in between 1 and 2, it's less than, so it's going to the left. You're good. Okay, and you put or there. Now, traditionally, I would actually like you to reduce this. So we are going to reduce it. We're going to divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. And I think we get 7 over 4. And I don't know why my program does that, but it really frustrates the heck out of me. Okay? Might be actually negative 1.75 now that I think about it. Okay? How are we looking there? Good? Oh, make sure you circle your answer or box your answer. That's always important. Okay, that was our warm-up. I know it's a little trickier because you haven't had any fractions there, but we got to start doing fraction stuff and getting familiar with them. Okay, so now down on 19 is where we're really going to get into the meat of the new part of the lesson. So I want to kind of rewrite this. 9r minus 2 minus 10. Gosh darn it, I said 10, not 18, right? Is less than negative 73. Okay, now, let's see what's going on here. And I actually think this one might be, let me check my answers for 19. Just glancing at it right now, I think it's no solution. And I don't want to go over something like that has a no solution. Yeah, 19's yucky. Okay, just looking at it. And I'm not going to give you any no solution problems. Just to let you know, that's not really where I'm going to go right now. I don't think we need to kind of touch on any of that. So just off the glance, just like because I've been doing math obviously for a while, it looked like no solution to me. So let's cruise over here to 20. Okay, I'm going to shift a little bit over to 20. And what we're going to do first is we're always going to add or subtract first. So let's get this negative 9 over here. We're going to add 9. We're going to add 9 and get rid of them. So we have 7n over 3. And then we still have our sign. And it looks like we have 21. Okay, our next step, anytime something's stuck to the absolute value, we'll divide. Gone. Okay, and it looks like we have the absolute value of n over 3. Keep the sign the same. And 21 divided by 7 is 3. Okay, is the absolute value by itself? Yes. So we can split them up. We can say n over 3 is less than 3. N over 3, flip the sign, negative 3. Okay? Now, it's being divided by 3. And I'll slow down for the kids that are kind of taking notes. So we will multiply by 3 on both sides. Cancel. Cancel. And it looks like we have n is less than 9. And over here we have n is greater than negative 9. Okay? Now, I want to show you something. So we're going to say less than 9. Well, 9 is right here to the left. Greater than negative 9. Negative 9 is over here to the right. Okay? And you know that if they're going together, it's going to be an and. So if we were in class and you gave me this answer, I would be happy with that. But on the homework, it's different. Okay, on your homework question, which is multiple choice, this is what the answer is going to look like. For an and type of answer, it's going to squeeze your n between these guys. So you can see, look, we have a 9 and we have a negative 9. So it's going to squeeze between the 9 and the negative 9. And that's how your answer is going to look. For an and, we just squeeze, and look, it kind of makes sense because look, you see how we're in between? We're in between here. We're in between 9 and negative 9. Our n is in between 9 and negative 9. And you're probably thinking, how do I know which way to put the signs? It's always going to go like that. Or if you have greater than or equal to, it'll go like that, and it'll be in between. Okay, that's how it's going to show up on your homework. Okay, so given what we just did, I want you to see and take your time on this. I really want you to take your time and try number 23. Number 23 is just like 20 that we just did. Just like it to the T. And your answer is going to look just like that but the numbers are going to be a little different. So pause it, really take your time attacking it. Okay, and then we're going to come back and solve it together. Okay, so here we are. We're going to subtract our 8. We're going to subtract our 8. Okay, and we have 4, 6 minus 2a. We're going to have to do some sign flipping, it looks like. Is less than or equal to, what is that, 16? Okay, our next step is divide 4. Divide 4. Okay. This becomes what? 4. Is our absolute value by itself now? Yes. So we can split it into 2. We can say 6 minus 2a. This sign, 4. And then we can say 6 minus 2a. Flip the sign, negative 4. Got it? Okay, let's get the 6 over here. Let's get this 6 over here. Minus 6, gone. Minus 6, gone. Okay, what do we have? Negative 2a, negative 2. And we have negative 2a, negative 10. Okay, next step. I love this blue color so much. Divide -2. We're dividing by a negative, so we have to flip the sign. Divide -2. We're dividing by a negative, so we have to flip the sign. You got it? So it looks like we have A, and this is 1, right? And then we have A, and this is 5. Let's graph it. Closed at 5, closed at 1. Closed at 5, closed at 1. It's greater, right? Because it's eating the variable at 1, going to the right. It's less than at 5, up. So that means it's an and, right? It's an and. But on your homework, how are they going to write it? They're going to write it like this. Let me get my eraser to give me some space. And maybe on the quiz, it's probably how it's going to be as well. So be mindful of this. You can say our A is in between what? It's in between 5 and 1. And since they're closed, they're going to have the lines underneath. A is in between 5, and A is in between 1. Boom. All right. What do we think? I'm thinking good stuff as well. Okay, so that's what 23 looks like. What we can do next, and then we'll probably finish up the lesson after this. But we need the practice. Gosh, we need the practice because we got a tough quiz either Thursday or Friday, depending on what day you have for class. So now let's come back here. Hopefully we're getting a little more comfortable now. I want you to attack 24, press pause, go ahead and just crush 24. When you're done, press play. We'll go over it. Okay, I'm assuming you press play. First thing we're going to do is get this guy over here. -6, -6. So we have 9, 3n minus 2. What is this, 45? Next step, divide 9. And we have 3n minus 2. And this is 9 times 5 is 45, right? So we can split them up. 3n minus 2, 5. Then we can say 3n minus 2, flip the sign, -5. Okay? Next step, slide it over. +2, +2. +2, +2. 3n, oh, we got a fraction. 7. 3n -3. Divide 3, divide 3. N being 7 over 3. And this guy's n, because we divide 3, -1. So let's graph it first. That's the first thing. Like, don't trip out. If I were you, I'd put this in your calculator and say 7 divided by 3, just to give you an idea of where it's going to be. I think it's going to say 2.33333, so that's in between 2 and 3, okay, which is fine. So just put it in between 2 and 3 and make sure it's open, okay, and it's greater than, so that means it's going to the right. This guy's at -1, he's open, okay, it's not eating the variable, so we're going to the left, and you can tell right there that they're going away from each other, so it's an or, and we don't need to do this like sandwich the things together because it's an or. Okay? How are we feeling about that? Pretty good? Okay, well that's pretty much it for this lesson. You're going to have a quiz, obviously, and we'll do a bunch of review for it. The week after that, we're going to probably review everything. And then what will happen is we'll have like a big unit test. All right, so thank you kids for kind of going through this and taking your time. And I'll see you soon.